You lose your keys and within seconds you're talking to yourself, not thinking, talking, out loud, in an empty room, to no one. Where are you? Come on. You barely notice you're doing it. But the real reason you do this is far stranger than habit, and it has almost nothing to do with being alone. Because the voice you use when no one's watching isn't just noise escaping a tired brain. It's a leftover tool, one built in childhood for a very specific job that never actually finished its work. It just went quiet. Think back to being 5 years old. Did you ever play alone in your room, narrating everything out loud? The car goes here. The dinosaur eats the car. Now it's the block's turn. Every kid does this, in almost every culture on record. Psychologists call it private speech. And for a long time they thought it meant nothing, just background chatter from an undeveloped mind. Then a Russian psychologist named Lev Vygotsky looked closer. In the 1930s, he proposed something radical for the time. That talking out loud wasn't a side effect of a child's thinking. It was the thinking. Kids weren't describing their actions after the fact. They were using speech to plan, to guide their own hands, to hold an idea steady long enough to act on it. The words came before the action, not after. And here's the part that should stop you. Vygotsky argued this speech never actually disappears. It just goes underground. Somewhere between childhood and adulthood, the words move inside your head, becoming what you now call your inner voice. The one narrating your day right now as you read this. But the switch was never fully complete. Under enough pressure, load, or focus, the old habit resurfaces. Out loud, in your kitchen, in your car, in an empty room. So why does it come back exactly when you're stressed, distracted, or trying hard to focus? That's where it gets interesting. In 2012, a cognitive scientist named Gary Lupyan ran an experiment that seems almost too simple to matter. He had people search for objects, like a banana, among a cluttered set of images, and told half of them to say the object's name out loud while they searched. Banana, banana, banana. The other half searched in silence. The group speaking the word out loud found their target faster. Saying a word doesn't just describe what you're looking for. It sharpens your visual attention toward it, almost like tuning a radio to a clearer frequency. That's why you mutter your keys, your keys, your keys while searching a couch cushion. You are not losing your mind. You're recruiting an ancient shortcut, one that turns a vague internal search into a targeted external command. Your own voice becomes a flashlight you point at your own attention. But there's a second, even stranger use for this habit, and it shows up when things go wrong instead of when you're just distracted. Psychologist Ethan Kross at the University of Michigan spent years studying what happens when people talk to themselves during stress, failure, or anxiety. Not vague affirmations, specific self-talk, often using their own name. Not "I can handle this," but "you can handle this," spoken as if from someone else entirely. His research found something surprising. People who used this distanced form of self-talk performed better under pressure, calmed down faster after a stressful event, and made clearer decisions than people who used the first-person I instead. Why would swapping one pronoun change anything? Because using your own name or the word you creates just enough psychological distance to step outside the panic. You stop being the person drowning in the problem and become, for a few seconds, the person coaching them through it. Same brain, two different vantage points. And speaking it out loud makes that separation even sharper than just thinking it silently. So the voice in the empty room isn't broken thinking. It's a coaching session, a search tool, a leftover piece of childhood architecture, all firing at once, usually without your permission. Here's the twist most people never expect. Talking to yourself isn't a symptom of struggling to think clearly. It's frequently the opposite. Studies on executive function, the mental system responsible for planning, focus, and self-control, have repeatedly linked frequent self-talk to stronger performance on complex tasks, not weaker. Children who talk to themselves more while solving puzzles tend to solve them faster. Adults who verbally coach themselves through difficult physical or cognitive tasks tend to outperform those who stay silent. The behavior people are quietly embarrassed by is, in most cases, evidence of a highly functioning mind working exactly as designed. So why does it still feel embarrassing? Why do you catch yourself mid-sentence in the grocery store and go quiet the second someone turns the corner? Because somewhere along the way, society decided that silence equals composure. An adult talking to themselves in public reads unfairly as a warning sign, something reserved for the unraveling, the eccentric, the overwhelmed. So you learn to push it back inside. The same way you learned to stop narrating your toy cars out loud once other kids started staring. The tool never left. You just built better walls around it. And that's why the last places it survives are the last places anyone can see you. The shower, where the water covers your voice. The car, sealed and moving, where talking to the windshield looks like nothing at all. The empty apartment, late at night, when the version of you that plans out loud finally gets to work without an audience. These aren't random locations. They are the modern equivalent of a 5-year-old's bedroom floor. The only remaining spaces private enough for your mind to think in its original, spoken form. Even now, reading this, notice what's happening. Somewhere behind your eyes, a voice is narrating these words as you take them in. That is inner speech, doing exactly what Vygotsky described nearly a century ago, quietly guiding you through the sentence you are currently on. It never left. It just moved indoors. So the next time you lose your keys, and you catch yourself muttering out loud in an empty room, don't file it away as a strange little habit. You are not alone in that room. Not really. You're doing the same thing every 5-year-old on a bedroom floor has ever done. The same thing. Every stressed adult coaching themselves through a hard moment has ever done. Spoken instead of silent. Working exactly the way it was built to work. One word at a time.